failed 2 biologics and your GI hasn't mentioned stem cells yet, here's what that conversation should actually look like. Hi, I'm Kate, and today we're talking about stem cell transplants for Crohn's disease, who actually qualifies, what the procedure involves, and where it honestly sits on the treatment ladder. If you or someone you love is running out of conventional options, well, this one matters. After my husband's third surgery, we realised more surgery wasn't a sustainable plan. And if you've had biologic failure, what it feels like is, well, what happens next? What can we do? How do we move on with this? So I don't want you to just think of it as a clinical term. It's actually a reality for people. And so the question I wish we'd known to ask our GI is, well, what comes next on the ladder? Because no one really talks about it until it's too late, or you just have to go along with it because the situation is serious. So I want today to give you some options and to understand whether, I guess, more extreme measures that are available there are going to be suitable for you. So here's what the research actually shows about stem cell transplantation, or HSCT. It's been studied in Crohn's patients who have exhausted conventional therapies, and the ASTIC trial and follow-up data suggests meaningful rates of sustained remission in carefully selected patients. Though there is very serious procedural risks, and they're very real and very well documented. So this is not a fringe therapy, and it's definitely not a cure. It's a last resort immunological reset that exists inside mainstream medicine with very strict eligibility criteria for very good reasons. So my job today is to help you understand those criteria clearly so you can have an informed conversation with your specialist. And what I want you to know is, obviously with stem cell therapy, how the procedure works is very simple. They take stem cells, they put them back. So you're wiping and rebooting your immune system. Now, that reboot gives you a window. It gives you an opportunity to reset, but it doesn't mean that you're cured. It doesn't mean that you're never going to suffer a flare again. What it means is that you've just been reset to factory settings, and how you operate from there is what kind of result you're going to get. So there are definite criteria that you have to satisfy in order to qualify for it. You must have failed 2 or more biologics. You have active but refractory luminal disease, no active serious infections. Typically, they like people that are under 50 years old, adequate organ function, and that's very important that they satisfy those criteria. I had a client who thought they qualified once, but they had an infection, and that ruled them out completely. So where does it sit on the treatment ladder? Honestly, relative to combination immunosuppression, newer biologics, small molecules, and surgical resection, it is not step 3. It's actually pretty close to the last rung on that ladder. So I make sure to tell people that this is pretty much the last resort. So the treatment, if you qualify, has definite risks. There's related mortality, there's infection vulnerability during the engraftment, secondary autoimmunity, so families, need to think about them with clear eyes. It's not that there's no chance of anything going bad, there's definite risks. So I don't want people to have false hope. So is it safer than another operation? Probably not. But if you're at that point, then I guess you just need to weigh up whether those risks are more dangerous than what you're facing every day. So on the other side of it, as I said, it's similar to a factory reset. You've got a bit of a window. And in that window, it's very important that your gut environment, nutrition, stress load, and sleep, they still matter after the transplant. The procedure resets immune activity, but it doesn't rewrite the terrain the immune system lives in. So you need to know possibly the first 90 days are seriously important. So as you know, my husband is 20 years flare-free, and the foundation work mattered even after the medical crisis was over. So the realistic, hopeful picture for HSCT is it can create a window, but what you do inside that window, well, that shapes the outcome. So if this conversation has helped you understand what to ask your GI team, share it with someone who needs it. And check the description for links to the ASTIC trial summary and our clinic resources. Remember, everything here supports your medical care. It doesn't replace it. I'll see you in the next video, and have a beautiful day.